Silent night. We need some light up there. Holy night. All is calm. All is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child. Hey, how you guys doing? I just want to imitate birds and wake up in the morning singing. And let's get it going here on Friday, May 4th of JED in the region. Let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue. I don't see anything, my friends. Your muffler, fix it! Everything seems to be just moving along swimmingly here at 6:13 on a Friday morning. Traffic brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. And what do you have in terms of the weather? Not a bad day. You know, it's it's warm at least. It's a shower early this morning maybe, and then the sun should come out later. So you got 2 different days. And I'm kind of glad about that. I don't mind that it's going to be a little cloudy in the morning because I got to work. And then I'm taking Jack to breakfast, and then I'll go work out, and then come back here and work till maybe 1 or so, and then I can get nice because it's time to work on the lawn again. You know, I figured out the best way to do the lawn. I used to go and do like these 3-hour marathon sessions. No, I just come home, and I get home from work around 2:30 or 3. And then instead of going and taking a nap right away, I just go out and I work in the lawn for like an hour and a half maybe. But that's it. And then when it's over, you're done. Like working out. If you go work out for 50 minutes or 55 minutes, but if you go over an hour, you don't want to do it again the next day or the day after. You just don't even want to do it. If you go like an hour and 45 minutes, you go, hey, man, I worked out real hard. And you're like, great. But your mind says, fine, you worked out really hard. But I ain't coming tomorrow or the next day or maybe even the day after that because this sucked. So you got to do it with the lawn. You just do a little bit. And I have this quandary going. I don't know whether I'm going to plant this tray of geraniums that the neighbor gave us. I don't want to say who it is because I think someone gave her the geraniums and she may have regifted them to us. Well, as a matter of fact, I know she did. But so we have these geraniums, and I've planted them too early before, and you get one of those I told you so moments when your wife's like, well, I don't know if we should be planting those. And you're, don't worry about it. Your muffler, fix it. And you just plant them anyways. You go, I don't want to do this later. I'm going to do it today. It's nice out. It's 80 degrees today. How cold could it get? I don't know. I think it seems kind of like, it's kind of early to plant. So we went and bought all these flowers from Allsip, and then someone gave us some flowers. And my wife's a Mexican, so she's like Flowers Central. And so we put all these flowers, and all of them died because it got down to like 24 degrees about a week later, and they all died. No, there's one resilient type of flower that made it through the really freeze and the frost, and I can't remember which one that was. I wanted to remember so that I would buy those. So, what do you think? I might just plant the flowers and just see and take it, roll the dice, because the wife's saying the same. But anyways, as soon as the flowers all froze, I got an "I told you so" for like the whole summer. I say, I told you. I mean, we'd be sitting outside, and normally she goes out to water her flowers, and instead she'd just be like harumphing around, like, I don't have any flowers to water. See, I told you that it was. I know you already told me that. You already told me that 50 times already. I already know that I planted them too early. So we got that going on. Anybody have any suggestions on how to deal with that? I'm thinking of planting the flowers today. Will that be too early? 219-845-1100. All right, but today it's going to be nice in the afternoon, a high of 74 later, and then tomorrow a high of 77. Sunshine and nice. And, really they say don't plant them until Mother's Day, but who's they anyways? They is a congenital idiot, if you ask me. But anyways, Sunday, showers around and not as warm and a high of 67. It's Friday. Nobody's listening. You could say whatever you want on the radio this morning. Unemployment's coming out. We got Bob's gonna call in, and I better get a number in my head. I don't have it. Do I see what it really is? Is do you think that it's going better than the pundits think, or worse? Let's see. Unemployment. What is it expected? All right, let's talk to Bill first and see how Bill's doing. Hey, Bill, you gonna plant your flowers tomorrow?
Jed, what I suggested strongly that you do as an attorney and your friend is follow the judge's orders and plant those flowers, or you're going to get in a lot of trouble.
I guess you're right. There's one thing I will not do in my house. I will not call her Your Honor. I mean, I'm just not doing that.
Love, cherish, and obedience. Your wife is just like mine. They're big on the obedience part.
Did you call to rub that in my face, or you just wanted to say hi?
I called to tell you the truth. It's hard to sort out the truth these days because these days, God, in the legal community and the business community, you know as well as I do, the lies are probably more prevalent than the truth with what our society's come to.
Yeah, but they're more interesting. The lies are very interesting.
But the problem is the darkness, the light, it's hard to sort out because the technology is injecting this, and especially in our youth with these damned iPhones, that it's impossible to raise your children. I was out last Christmas at dinner with my wife and 4 kids. In 2 minutes, they all had their iPhones out. I said, "Put those damn things away, or I'm not picking up the bill." And they thought I was a bad guy.
What do you mean it's impossible to raise your children?
It's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult. People can complain about strip joints around here. All these kids have to do is punch something in on their iPhone, and it's right in front of them. You know that.
Hey, what are you saying?
Of course, I've never done that.
Me neither. I know that sometimes the bishop listens to my show. So be quiet.
We have so much in common that you don't know. My mother was 100% Polish too.
Oh,
One of 10 children of Polish immigrants in Oil City, Pennsylvania. It's her birthday today. Would have been her 99th birthday. So where are you going to be later so we can have a root beer and have a toast? A Stolat.
All right, man.
May you live 100 years. She made 99.
Hey, happy birthday to your mother. And, it can be kind of a happy day, right?
She became a saint. It was a pretty tough first half of 2000. I delivered her eulogy in January. My brother Mark's in February. My father's in May. And my mother and father buried 3 of their children. We have the same attitude as my parents. We're blessed for the time we had with them.
Leave it at that. Thanks a lot, Bill. Talk to you. Hey, guys, let's go to Paul from Passy. Paul from Hassey. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Jed? What's going on, man?
I don't know. Just sitting here watching the trucks go by. I just gave the WJOB weathercast.
Watching the wheels go round and round?
Yeah. I just gave the WJOB weathercast that it was going to be cloudy all morning, and the sun just came out and slapped me in the face. So there we go.
Standard meteorologist, right?
Yeah, standard, right? Standard WJOB level of accuracy. So what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to call, dude, and give a shout out to all the young men and women out there who are graduating from college this week and this weekend. My oldest son being one in that group. So they all deserve a big shout out for that accomplishment.
Where's he graduating from?
Ball State.
In what?
Fishery biology.
Fishery.
He's going to be a fisheries biologist.
So is this what's his first name?
Paul.
Why would you name a kid after you?
I didn't. My wife did. I didn't have anything to do with his name.
Okay, so
you know how that goes. You didn't name your kids either. Tell the truth.
No, I was eating a sandwich and then a ding dong. Well, my wife was giving birth and she got so mad. Anyways,
I was drying my shoes afterwards.
hey, listen. So is this Paul was the one? Remember the other day when the guy was talking about that huge cat on bike path, and
Same
then
guy.
yeah, you called
Yep.
your son, and he's like, and he gave us like some, pretty accurate information about what that might be, mountain lion or cougar or whatever. So,
Yeah. He's
so,
very astute into the wildlife scene.
so what's he want to do with a fishery and biology degree?
He's going to go on for his master's, and what he wants to get into, he's a master diver also, so he wants to get into reservoir restorations. The reservoirs throughout the country, probably 80+% of them, and I know this through him, are in heavy depletion, from lack of maintenance throughout the years. So he wants to get into working with different states on restoring their reservoirs, turning them back to vital fisheries. They're a big economic boost.
What I hear in that is that he's following in his father's footsteps, and that he wants to go into construction, but it's just kind of a little bit different. You know what I mean? He wants to do it underwater with a college degree rather than, another way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. He did work for Hassey throughout the years. From I think early on, got a little taste of it, and kind of enjoys it. Has a little bit of adaptitude for it, and but he enjoys fishing. He fished for Ball State for 4 years.
Do you get a Letterman's jacket for like being on the fishing team or whatever?
Not on that team because it's considered a club.
Okay, but because that would be a cool Letterman's jacket to have when chicks
Southern schools.
Yeah, they give Letterman's jackets for a fishing team.
Oh, they give full scholarships for fishing teams.
Really, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
A serious note here. Paul and I both attended the Business Hall of Fame around here. This is growing in importance around here. The Times is actually doing a pretty good job of it. And Bill Hassey told his story of his dad. I think he passed in, 84? And a young Bill Hassey had to come in and take over the firm. I didn't know he was that young when he came in.
Yeah, fresh out of college. And in my mind, he's done a great job and continues to do a great job as he's diversified the company throughout the years and has moved forward at a rapid rate and continues to move forward.
Man, what a great story, though. I mean, so did Mr. Hassey, did he pass away suddenly, or was
I
it?
believe there was an illness involved. I don't know how sudden it was. That was prior to me joining the company at that time. Just prior, basically.
So. Oh, really? So you've been there since the 80s?
Late 80s, yeah.
Wow, that's a long time, too. You should be congratulated. And it's always interesting to see a long-time construction workers like myself and you try to put on nice clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I told you before, they're for Marion and Berrien usually for guys like us.
We were standing there, Paul and I were standing there. There's all these people in suits, and we had our sport coats on, and I'm like, dude, do we look like a couple construction workers or what? All right, man, I'll see you. See you. Take it easy. 626 in the Calumet region. Be right back.
Hi, it's Mara Candelaria Reardon, your 12th District State Representative. The people you trust most, firefighters, policemen, teachers, and farmers, have all endorsed me to continue doing the people's work because they know that I will make sure their voices are heard at the State House. I humbly ask you to join them and vote Mara Candelaria Reardon for 12th District State Representative. Paid for by citizens for Mara Candelaria Reardon.
John Salzader, Democratic candidate for North Township Advisory Board. You have heard me on these airways before talking about my family charity, its events, and the groups it supports. Now I've decided to run for your North Township Board. I am well qualified and ready to work for you. Elect John Salzader.
Approved and paid for by the committee to elect John Salzader.
Is Indiana better off than it was 40 years ago? I'm Father Mark Kurowski, a Democrat, running for state senate. It's time for a new direction in Indiana. It's time for a state senator who fights for regular Hoosiers, fully funded and safe schools, for union labor, for roads and bridges, for a foster care system, that works. We have the money in the rainy day fund, and it's pouring down. If you think it's time for a state senator who will fight for you, then vote Mark Kurowski for state senate on May 8th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Kurowski.
Elections matter, qualifications matter, integrity and honesty matters, and most of all, experience matters. The Honorable Lorenzo Arredondo possesses all of these qualities. Make a wise decision. Vote for Arredondo for clerk on May 8th. Arredondo for clerk. Honest, trustworthy, dependable, and experienced. And there is no substitute for experience.
My name is Lorenzo Arredondo, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Arredondo for clerk.
Lakarahanya Mora Husky and Farahanya Poskilanya Pama. I'm going to do the traffic right now, brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda in Ishkamalufka language. And Yenibahara Fahanya Hain Lukamahanya and Eniahara Goni Hanabahanya Hiski. Mora Hicha, Molahora Hanyanyan, and Tadahana Han lead in Porskina Habanaka. I'm going to translate that for you guys now. At 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65. Hey, they're all moving along pretty well. Brought to you by Nyerbahana Honda. And let's take a look at what's going on in the weather. It's a high of 74 today. 74. And tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 77, sunshine and nice. My dance card is so filled tomorrow and in such a filling, happy way. And I'll tell you about it in a second, but it's going to be highlighted by my wife giving the commencement speech at Purdue Northwest. And look on a hum. How do you deal with that kind of competition in your own home, you know? First of all, people call your wife now your honor all day, and then she comes home and she's giving the commencement speech. Then I ask her to make me dinner. How's that working, you think, huh? Anyways, high of 67 on Sunday. Showers around, not as warm. You know, it was for the longest of times at around 6:45 or 7 o'clock. My wife would come on the air with me on Fridays. But instead, we're going to have Jeff Strack today with a friend, and we're going to talk a little bit about the food bank. And they, by the way, they got one of the coolest buildings in the region. Tom Kuhn's helping them out over there with some architecture also. And Tom Kuhn was one of the guys that stepped forward and gave us $500 on Wednesday for Hammond High's shoot away. And by the way, if you went to Hammond High and you haven't given at least $100, or quite frankly, let's put it this way, or if you went to Hammond Tech, and the only reason that you should do that is just out of spite to give it to, if you went to Hammond High or Hammond Tech, you should be given $100 to Jermaine Boyette or Coach Larry Moore Jr. over at Hammond High. They're doing it the right way. They want to buy a shoot away for $8,000. Pete Corrales helped them out. Tom Kuhn helped them out. Kuhn and Corrales sat next to each other at graduation in 1979, and they've both gone on to operate successful businesses. Kuhn, CSK Architects, and Corrales Roofing. And they both stepped forward and did the right thing about their alma mater. But if you haven't, then, slap on you. Anyways, weather there is brought to you by Local 41 of the Laborers Union, of which I am a proud alum. I'll see a bunch of laborers tomorrow at the Hard Hat outing. It's out at White Hawk Country Club. The local building trades people all get together and they golf with people that build, that end users, like Billy Baker's company where he works for. He's like an end user. He'll be playing. And then there's construction contractors that'll be playing there. And, you can't, hey, thanks for beeping. There's Corrales Roofing right now. And if you mention one, then construction companies are like at the lunch table. You know what I mean? And if you don't give them enough, if you give one of them attention, and then everybody else feels like slighted. So I won't mention any of them. But then there'll be plenty of union guys and union leaders out there also. And Matt Reardon will be playing in my stead tomorrow. And thanks a lot to Matt. I was I mean, I needed someone. I can't play because Alexis is giving that commencement speech, but I'll be out there. I'll get out there and eat free breakfast at 7:30, and then I'll get out of there as they start and drive away. But it's a lot of fun. And plus, these are the kind of people that are doing the right thing in the community. They're raising money, Make-A-Wish, Boys and Girls Club, Down Syndrome, Chasing Dreams. See, when you hire a union contractor, that money circulates back through the community. If you get some travelers that come into town and they work for out-of-town companies that are non-union, then that money leaves and we don't benefit. So remember that, certain large employers around here. All right, what else do we have? The NISA thing is tomorrow, and that will be at the B. Coleman Aviation. There's some last-minute tickets available. All you have to do is go over to Munster Police Department and ask for Steve Shekel, and I think he has a few. I'll be out there. Alexis gives a second commencement at 3 o'clock. Then I'll be out there after that. And if I win another gun, this one I'm going to pick up. Made in His Image. It is a conference also tomorrow. It is the Institution for Creation Research. And the conference is at the Christian Fellowship Church, not too far from the WJOB Tower there on 165th Street. And on the air right now is Pastor Mike. Pastor Mike, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
And how do you say your last name?
Matisic.
So what is going on tomorrow?
Excuse me?
Hello. You've got a conference tomorrow. What is it?
Jim, we have this creation conference, and we want to make people aware. The Institute of Creation Research is coming up with two of their speakers, Dr. Randy Galuza and Dr. Jerry Bergman. Dr. Galuza is Harvard educated. I know sometimes people might think that's a oxymoron to have a Harvard guy and a Christian guy all combined in one. But he is going to come up, and Dr. Jerry Bergman is going to come up, and we're going from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock at Christian Fellowship Church in Hammond. And the conference has something for everybody. We've got child care for kids under age 4. We've got a ministry coming in from, I believe it's Wyoming. It's called the Alpha Omega Institute, and they're going to be educating or doing a program for kids ages 4 to 12. And then for adults, we're wanting to have the entire family there because we want the entire family to be educated on this very important subject. So it's
what is the very important subject?
Creation. We want people to understand the truth of creation. We know that we're living in a day and age when fake news. We believe that people need to understand that there is science behind creation, and that theistic evolution, gap theory, as well as just straight-out evolution, it isn't the only one with science behind it. The liberal left, we believe liberal churches, liberal theology, has sort of hijacked this issue. And we're watching in the schools where creation doesn't even get an opportunity to present its side. And this is a great opportunity if somebody is interested for Christians to be educated, churches, schools, individuals to come out and learn what science is behind creation.
So what is it that you believe there, Pastor? We're talking to Pastor Mike Matisic. So you don't believe in evolution. You believe that what happened?
God created the earth in a literal 6 days. And most people don't even are aware that there are 14 scientific principles to have evolution that have to be violated, that have to be absolutely suspended. The very nature of Christianity is, I believe, synced with science, that we're not the ones who have abandoned science. And I think that those who want to come out and hear Dr. Galuza or Dr. Bergman will be I'm fascinated by the information that will be presented.
So, I'm just going back to sitting and kind of dazing off in 8th grade religion class. So you're talking about divine creation, and so you're set to present evidence of divine creation. Then, am I reading that right?
Yeah, the science behind it. Right. And I think, Jim, we're dealing in a day and age when people don't want to be held accountable to their creator. And so if evolution is true, then there's no creator. And we don't have to be accountable. But I believe people will find that basically this subject has been hijacked by people that have wanted to push their agenda. Now nobody comes out and says, "Oh, I don't want to be held accountable to a creator." But the reality of it is when you find that there is science, and I think people get blown away. Last night we had the opportunity to have Dr. Pale on with on Sam's show, and he talked about the fact that he was an atheist, and when he became a Christian, all of a sudden he became aware of the science behind creationism, and just it was overwhelming.
So, I mean, it happened a long time ago, right? Whatever happened a long
Oh
time
my goodness,
ago.
Jim, that is a great point because science deals with one of its main tenets is the concept of observation, and you can't observe creation. We can't recreate it. It's amazing when people start to push science and they say, "Oh, we want to be scientific. We don't want to be someone that's into creation and just believing an archaic book, the Bible." When the reality is, you can't recreate creation. And like I've challenged people is people hold to their Bible from evolutionary standpoint, Darwin's book, Origin of a Species. I ask you, Jim, have you ever read it?
As a matter of fact, as a sociology major at the University of California, Berkeley, I've read way too much of it. And that's
Okay.
been a long time ago. I've read huge sections of it and wrote a term thesis paper on it. And it's very dry, and it talks all about these little finch birds that it's just really hard to follow. But
You are one of the few people. You're one of the few people that I've ever asked. I've read it. I've got a copy in my office, and in his book, he talks about all those little finches and all the information which has been summarized as the missing link. And he says in that book, if these links aren't found, my book is worthless. And the reality of it is those links have never been found. That's why they're still called the missing link. And yet you go to the high schools, you go to the colleges in this area, and they teach it as if it's science. And then if Christians are given any voice, we're shouted down because we're the ones who are being treated as if we're ignorant.
All right, so right around the corner here is O'Bannon Elementary School. It's a huge elementary school, and so what do you want them to teach in there regarding how we got here?
I would hope that they would at least give creation a voice, and they should at least give it a voice. That's it. I mean, kids aren't even given the option to know that this is something that's a viable alternative. Whatever presuppositional approach you take it a foundation that, I believe in evolution, you build your system on it. You take an approach that there's creation, you build your system on it. I think people would be amazed once they begin to find out some of the facts that are out there. And that's why we hope that people would want to hear Dr. Galusa and Dr. Bergman.
Okay, and what time are they going to speak tomorrow?
9 starts at 9 a.m., goes to 4 p.m.
And how much is it?
It's $20 for a family. Lunch is included, $10 an individual. You can sign up online, or you can come at the door. www.csc-church.net. But let me tell you, we're not in this to make money. If anyone wants to come, they don't have money, my goodness, we'll cover it. But you get a free lunch. We want it to be a full-day activity.
Okay, all right, so let's talk about trying to get your message to children. You're having a creation program for the ages of 4 to 12. What are you going to teach these kids?
Well, I don't have the agenda for Alpha Omega Institute. But they're gonna learn how we're made in God's image. They're gonna learn that life matters. I mean, they're gonna learn how that God made them male and female. So they're going to learn not only the science, but I believe the biblical truth behind how we're made in God's image.
All right, man. That's tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, say someone wants to just kind of come check it out. Do they have to come for the whole time, or can they just maybe pop in?
No, that's a good. Yeah. You go online. You can see the schedule, and
it's cfc-church.net. And we'll put that in the Facebook and YouTube text at the top there, cfc-church.net. All right, Pastor Mike is very passionate about creationism. I got a feeling, Mike, there's going to be a whole bunch more people that are passionate about creationism there too. Am I correct?
Yes, you're very gracious. Thank you.
All right, you got a lot of passion, and Mike, Pastor called me yesterday and wanted to explain creationism as I was kind of involved in something. So I had to cut you off yesterday. Hopefully we got enough out today to entice some people to come over and see your program. I mean, it's an alternative view, put it that way.
It is, absolutely.
And one day we'll talk about your what you said at the beginning, the fake media thing, because I'm always a little suspicious of that. But that's another talk for another story. We're just here to present his conference tomorrow, Institute for Creation Research, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yep, there you go. And you could come in.
And Dr. Galuzza will be speaking Sunday at our church as well. He'll do a morning hour at 9:30, and the worship service will be presenting information as well.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Pastor. We appreciate you calling in.
Thank you, Jim.
Talk to you. 645 in the Calumet region. We're going to talk food next. And what a great story that would be right now, because in 1 hour and 7 minutes, I'll be picking up little Jack for breakfast. But until then, it's you and me and the region and everything in between. John, this is from John. This guy's name is John. His first name is John. You guys know which spot I'm going to play, don't you? Here it is. John
Salzader, candidate for North Township Advisory Board. I am fully qualified, experienced, and will bring a new face and new vision to your township government. Elect John Salzader, Salzeider, on May 8th, Democrat.
Approved and paid for by the committee to elect John Salzader.
On May 8th, vote for Democrat Andrew Silvestrowitz for Lake County Clerk of Circuit Courts. Andrew is a qualified Democrat and has 12 years of experience as a councilman in Maryville at every facet of government. Make your vote count with Andrew Silvestrowitz for Clerk of Circuit Courts. Paid for by committee to elect Democrat Andrew Silvestrowitz.
I am Andrew Silvestrowitz, and I approve this message.
Now, up to the tap, Mr. Fun! Johnny's Tap, now serving a variety of local beers, including Three Floyds, Byway Brewing, New Overfalls, and Zorn.
That's it. I'm listening to the voice in my head. I'm thirsty, and I want to watch baseball. I'm heading to Johnny's Tap at 8050 Calumet Avenue in Munster. They have 12 beers on tap to choose from.
Johnny's Tap, the home of Mr. Fun since 1956. New ownership and now smoke-free. Join us for Mix It Monday, Taco and Tequila Tuesday, Whiskey Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, and Fireball Friday. Johnny's Tap.
Hi, Economics Dr. Jess Ortiz wants your vote. We continue to have more abandoned houses than homeless. This can happen to anyone, including children. It is a waste of resources that lowers property value. I, Ortiz, pledge to resolve this ethical, legal, and economic mandate through improved policy without additional taxes. God willing, leave no homeless behind. Vote.
Paid for by Committee to Elect Dr. Jesus Lewis Ortiz, North Township Advisory Board.
State Senator Frank Mervan stands committed to working men and women and is endorsed by Indiana State Teachers Association and American Federation of Teachers, United Steelworkers District 7, Indiana AFL-CIO, IBEW Electrical Workers, Indiana Building Trades Union, Indiana Firefighters, Teamster Local 142, Northwestern Indiana Building and Construction Trades Council, Democratic Precinct Organizations of Hammond, Highland, Munster, Cherville, Dyer. Please vote for State Senator Frank Mervan. Paid for by the Committee to Elect Frank Mervan Jr., State Senator.
Jedi's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you will love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight, Jedi's has you covered with breakfast omelets, salads, stir-fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently expanded spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas, and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at Jedi's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
Hey, this is Gino from Region Bandstand, and you are listening to The Bright Spot on your radio dial, AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM in Hammond.
Baxter Printing, located at 3837 Ridge Road in Highland, is a family-owned and operated union print shop that has been serving Northwest Indiana for over 60 years. Our list of satisfied customers range from union locals and politicians to the everyday entrepreneur working hard to get their business off the ground. We help make that happen through our expert design and advice, creating everything from every-door direct mailers to business cards and banners. Why don't you let the Tarosi family at Baxter Printing assist you in your next project? Call us today at 923-1999 and hear me say, Baxter Printing.
Good morning, everybody. 649 in the Calumet region. My name is Jim Diedler, host of JED in the region. Thanks for joining us this beautiful Friday morning. The sun keeps coming and going. It's a little gray right now, but at some point today it's going to be 74 and sunny. And I'm going to plant some geraniums. And it's that kind of day. It just makes you want to sing a song. I don't know. What song should we sing? Yes, only love can break your heart. You should have known right from the start. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65. I don't know what in Sam Hill's going on right now, but there's not any traffic really anywhere. Of course there is right now. We all know this. There's traffic on Indianapolis Boulevard between Meyer and the Webb Ford. And right now, if you're on that thing, you're like, oh, my God, looking down and to your left, and you're like, holy moly, how do they take out the center of a bridge and it doesn't fall in? And you know what? Somebody on the air here suggested the answer to that. Purdue engineers. That's how you get that done. Anyways, it is graduation here on the Purdue campus, so it's going to be all crazy around here. And I want to say congratulations to 3 of my sports broadcasting students who are graduating tomorrow. And I'll be out there and giving them a special congratulations as my wife gives the commencement speech. Also, tomorrow, NISA is having their fundraiser, and that will be at the Gary B. Coleman hangar. And if you want to get tickets, there's still some available. It's a great party. I'm telling you, you would not be disappointed at this. First of all, it's going to be nice out, so they're going to be able to open up the hangar door. We couldn't do it last time because it was cold on Derby Day, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit warmer, and they'll open up. And, man, it's really a cool thing to have the hangar open onto the tarmac. Anyways, traffic there. Let's take a look at weather. High of 74 today. Should get sunny later. Maybe just one shower this morning. Tomorrow, sunshine and nice and a high of 77. These are the kind of days that you live for in the Calumet region. Sunday gets a little cooler. As a matter of fact, it gets down into the low 40s, upper 30s overnight on Sunday going into Monday. So it should be kind of a cool day, not as warm, and maybe some showers around. So kind of a rainy day on Sunday. Sorry about that. And don't forget that this section is brought to you by Rush Radio Surgery. Rush Radiosurgery is on the west side of Chicago, and they have made a huge investment here. And if you need a second opinion, they don't want to take you away from your local doctor. They just say, hey, you want a second opinion, just come on up, and they'll give it to you. They've got the highest rated machines and expertise right there on the west side of Chicago. Hey, yesterday I was honored to go out and see. I was a little curious about this building that was on Broadway. I was like 6490 Broadway, and I'm like, gosh, what used to be there? And I don't know, was that Handy Andy or was that like furniture? I can't remember what it was, but I get there, and it is this massive 72,000 square foot facility that should be opening in maybe July or August. And it is for the Northwest Indiana Food Bank. They put on a really nice show yesterday. And some of the people that were doing that are in the studio right now. So how you doing? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Steve Beekman, Executive Director of the Food Bank.
How long have you been doing that, Steve?
I've been part of the Food Bank for almost 5 years.
How's it feel talking to the back of my head?
Not too
you
bad.
Okay with that?
Not too
right,
bad.
Yeah, good. I'm sorry. I have to adjust your voice. And Steve, you've been doing that for, I'm sorry, how long?
Almost 5 years.
Really? Yep. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Arizona State.
So what? Did you get a sociology degree?
No.
What, psychology? Let me guess. All right, psychology, general studies?
No.
What? What did you get? Accounting?
Outdoor recreation management.
Outdoor recreation management.
That's
That
right.
was the next thing I was going to guess. And so they don't offer that here at Purdue Cal, do they?
I don't think so.
No, but you had outdoor recreation management, and then you wind up being executive director of the food bank. You're going to have to give us the Reader's Digest stories of that leap. How'd that happen?
Well, for many years, I worked at Boys and Girls Clubs in Metropolitan Phoenix.
Okay.
About 13 years. And then, so we had a lot of programs that provided food for kids, and I did a lot of programming with kids for many, many years. And met my wife. She's from the Midwest. So we moved back to the Midwest and landed a position with the food bank. Started out as director of development and just kind of moved my way up to executive director, and that's where I've been. And it's been an amazing ride, but I think it's quite unique organization, nonprofit. It has a special niche that really provides a lot of great services for a community by rescuing food that otherwise would go into landfills, and we're converting that into meals for people that are in need. So it's a great organization.
Your name's?
I'm Emily Kutka.
And what do you do with the food bank?
I'm the Director of Community Partnerships.
All right, and where are you from around here? Or?
Grew up in Griffith.
In Griffith? And you went to Griffith High School?
I sure did.
And what year did you graduate from there?
2006.
Griffith in 2006. Did you go on any other schooling then? Or?
I went to Butler University.
Oh, and you studied, let me guess. You know how Johnny Carson used to do it? You studied philanthropy.
I did not.
All right, let me go with another one. You studied East Asian econometrics.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, either do I. So what'd you study there?
I studied journalism.
Oh, man. There you go. You never where you're going to go. The one thing that you can be sure of, the people come here and they ask me, what can I be sure of if I get a journalism degree? Well, I think you're pretty set that you're not going to find a job in journalism. You'll be working in something else.
Mm-hmm.
But
nonprofit's a good choice.
Yeah, nonprofit's a good choice, or like a dispatcher at a bus terminal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of journalists that are after that they go on and they get their masters in marketing
Mm-hmm.
when they realize they can't get a job, and then those are the people that are buying advertising all over the region and around Chicago. Mm-hmm. But I'm not downing that because I get a lot of them here, and I studied journalism also. So you're doing this now, and you make connections with companies then, right? Is that basically it?
I do. Companies, other organizations, and nonprofit in the community that want to be part of what we're doing and just help us work together to make a difference for folks around Northwest Indiana.
All right. So I heard the term you guys use, food necessity, or what's this? Food danger? What's
food insecurity?
Food insecurity. How acute is that here in Northwest Indiana?
Well, every year, Feeding America provides a survey, a research survey that's called Map the Meal Gap. And every year, new numbers come out that specifically kind of call out food insecurity across the country. And here in Lake and Porter County, it's about 93,000 people that are food insecure. That means they might not know where the next meal will come from.
Who are they?
It could be your
You know what?
coworker.
Hold on. I need you to pull that chair all the way up so it's not such a. There you go. Get on that mic. There you go.
Right.
So, who are these people?
It could be anybody. It could be your coworker. It could be your kid's classmate at school. It might be the fellow parents that you see at your kid's baseball game. It could be your next door neighbor. It's people that are having to choose between buying groceries or paying for medical bills. They're having a difficult time figuring out how to make ends meet. And these people are choosing to opt to not choose healthy, nutritious foods. And over a long period of time, that can cause a negative impact on their well-being, themselves and their family.
So, you guys, you're still in Gary, right?
Yes.
In the old facility.
Correct.
So you got this brand new behemoth of a facility. How'd this come about? I know you're thinking, well, how come he hasn't brought in the guy on the end of the table? But I talk to him like every other day, so I'm not sure there's much new I'm going to get out of him. Okay, but we'll get to him in a second. All right. So what is you got 12,000 square feet, and you're going into 72,000 square feet. There's got to be a reason behind this.
Yeah, and it's called it's the reason is the need. We need to be able to provide more food to people in this area and in the region. Like I said, 100,000 people are food insecure, nearly 100,000 people, and to meet that need, we should be trying to distribute 17 million meals
A year?
A year, and we
How many are you doing now?
We do 4.5 million meals out of a 12,000 square foot barn, and once we started working out of the barn, as we call it, they initially said we could do about 2.5 million meals out of this barn. Well, we're doing 4.5, and this facility it's outlived its life. It doesn't have docks. It lacks enough space for us to accept donated products that are just it leaves the region. We're not be able to accept it and distribute it to people in need. And so that's a major issue for our organization and for the region. So this facility that we are trying to move into is we'll be able to accept all donated product that we can turn around and give back to the community and people in need.
So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's at 6490 Broadway. So if you got off at, say, 61st, and then you went down to the light there, and then you hung up, you went south. You go down about 2-3 blocks, and it's on your right. What did that used to be?
Yep.
Was it Handy Andy?
It was, yeah.
That was like
Handy
a
Andy's,
big
yes.
Handy Andy back when Handy Andy's were kind of, they did lumber and all that stuff. And it's a huge facility. Now, Tom Kuhn was pointing some of the stuff out to me. He's like, hey, did you see the plans? I go, no, but, I mean, you're putting in a huge kitchen, right?
Yeah, the plan is to not only to provide more meals by accepting all donated product and food, but we also want to create long-term solutions to hunger and food insecurity, and by creating a commercial kitchen to hold a job training program, so a lot of workforce development programming, because we know that financial stability is the number one way for people to get out of poverty and food insecurity. So we want to create long-term solutions with this building, not just provide more meals, but provide long-term solutions. And so a job training program, we also want to educate. So we want to do a demonstration kitchen to teach people the healthy ways to cook and be able to stretch their dollars in order to provide healthy, nutritious meals for themselves and their family.
Okay, so how does all this, food comes into you guys, right? And then does it go out as dry goods and fresh produce, or do you actually make meals? And then who distributes them?
Right. So we accept food. Typically, it's bulk food, so pallet size, wrapped. We also rescue food with local grocery stores as well. We bring that back to our facility, repurpose it, resort it, however we need to do. And then we distribute it out through our programs and our partner agencies. Which
What are those?
They're typically our food pantries. typically ran by volunteers, local churches, and we have a network about 110 of those across Lake and Porter County. So we're basically the hub of the meals that we can bring into the region and then distribute out through our partner agencies. And that's how we're able to funnel out all this food that we get. We do get a lot of it's dry goods, but what our issue is now is we can't accept a lot of the frozen or food that needs to be refrigerated because of lack of space in our current facility. So one of the most major constructions is the freezer cooler in itself. So we're going for less than 1,000 square foot cooler freezer to a 5,000 square foot freezer cooler system that will be able to accept so much more frozen and dairy and fresh produce than ever before. And I think one of my mentions is we can kind of relate that to fresh produce and protein. We can actually increase that to about 500% with this new freezer cooler system, which is exciting for us because those are the nutritious meals and the food that people really need. It's just not, so I think some bad perceptions we hear is that it's just junk food, and that's not true. It's we provide about 72% of all the food we distribute out is foods to encourage. So that's healthy, nutritious meals that are healthy for you.
He's Steve Beekman along with Emily Kutka. Also, Jeff Strack is here. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
And what is your involvement with Strack and Van Til stores?
And we've been proud supporters of the food bank since the early 80s. And when this opportunity came along to find a new facility, we were all supportive of that. And our organization is willing to help out in however we can to make that difference.
So what happens with food? How does food get from you guys on a pallet to the food bank?
I think a lot of it in our case, we deal mostly directly with the food partners, the 110 agencies throughout the community. So our stores, whether like in East Chicago, you heard yesterday, George Weems from the East Chicago Foundation said that they support 10, 11 food pantries in that community. And that's where, for example, our store in East Chicago will be supporting those pantries. We also try to help out the food bank with working with some of our vendors to funnel product. Not too long ago, I think Smithfield, we were able to get a truck of hams. And that's an example where we didn't have enough space to take all the product on, and we had to have outside help to store the hams until they were able to be distributed. So going forward, we'll be able to work with vendor partners to bring more of that fresh, healthy food in and not have to either turn it away or find alternative storage for it.
I'm just curious how, is this like did the truck get lost and then it wound up at you guys? How do you get a truck full of hams?
A lot of vendors.
I'm sure that's questions on people's minds.
They're always looking. I search through trade journals and I see people doing things throughout the country, and I go to our buyers saying, "Hey, don't forget about us here in Northwest Indiana. How can we help our local organizations?" And like many other businesses, they're proud to support worthy causes, and it just happened to be available in our time. So we're happy to take it and help feed people.
So the the foundations, what is their relationship? I saw Weems talking yesterday. I didn't quite get the link up with the food bank though.
Yeah, we there's certain pockets of our community that are identified food deserts, and that means people have limited access to healthy, nutritious foods. And what we do is we try to provide a lot of our agencies, but a lot of our own programs in those specific areas. And East Chicago is one that we always try to ensure that we provide a lot of our programming there. We have our what we call is the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is a CSFP initials, which is senior boxes that are where low-income qualifying senior citizens getting a 32-pound box of food every month. So we're providing a lot of those boxes to East Chicago. We also provide some.
So you guys box that up over here on in Gary?
Yes. Yeah. So we have.
And then that gets distributed through the different charitable agencies.
Correct. So the bulk product comes into our facility. We have volunteers repack it, resort it. For example, the senior box. And then we distributed that out through our agencies and our distribution sites. And so we have a lot in East Chicago, but we have a lot all throughout Northwest Indiana. So the amount of food we provide per town is pretty dramatic. It's 4.5 million meals. So they recognize that what the food bank brings to East Chicago and East Chicago citizens. And so I think they understand the importance of it. And again, that's just one example, the senior box. But we also provide youth breakfast and lunch during the summer months through the summer food service program. So, and they have about 13 agencies there as well that utilize our ability to access food that gets distributed through those local pantries.
Steve Beekman, Emily Kutka, Jeff Streck. We'll be right back. It's political season. We got to do it. We'll be right back on the voice and face of the region.
Is Indiana better off than it was 40 years ago? I'm Father Mark Kurowski, a Democrat running for state senate. It's time for a new direction in Indiana. It's time for a state senator who fights for regular Hoosiers, fully funded and safe schools, for union labor, for roads and bridges, for a foster care system that works. We have the money in the rainy day fund, and it's pouring down. If you think it's time for a state senator who will fight for you, then vote Mark Kurowski for state senate on May 8th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Kurowski.
Hello, my name is Patrick O'Rourke. On behalf of the Hammond Teachers Federation, I am proud to support Mara Candelaria Reardon for 12th District State Representative. She is a proven fighter for teachers and students in Northwest Indiana. On May 8th, please join me in casting your vote for Mara Candelaria Reardon for State Representative District 12.
Paid for by citizens for Mara Candelaria Reardon.
You do have a choice for a new beginning. Vote Wally DeRose for Lake County Sheriff. He has an outstanding record as police commander, federal agent, and Army veteran. Integrity, honor, and a lifetime of service in Lake County. Paid for by the committee to elect Wally DeRose.
From the Strachan Van Til Studios, your local Strachan Van Til has some great products on sale this week. Here's a few items you might want to add to your shopping list. Certified Angus Beef Boneless New York Strip Steak, $6.99 a pound. California Strawberries, 16-ounce package. Nature Ripe Blueberries, 1 pint. Buy one, get one free. Pepsi Mountain Dew Dr. Pepper, 12-ounce, 24 packs. Select varieties, $4.99 each when you buy 2. Limit 1 offer. Strachan Van Til, proud to be Indiana-made and dedicated to being Indiana's grocery store.
John Salzader, Democratic candidate for North Township Advisory Board. You have heard me on these airways before talking about my family charity, its events, and the groups it supports. Now I've decided to run for your North Township Board. I am well qualified and ready to work for you. Elect John Salzader.
Approved and paid for by the committee to elect John Salzider.
Hey guys, 7:09 in the Calumet region. It's a Friday, and it is going to get sunny later and then a beautiful day tomorrow. So get out and enjoy it and plant your geraniums. A high of 74 today, 77 tomorrow. And then by Sunday, you've got a high of only 67 and some showers. So after this little spate of some clouds and showers this morning, it should get pretty nice for about good 36 hours. And weather is brought to you by our good friends at CertifiedElectrician.com. Hey, and if you need electrical work done, how about a union electrical contractor, and we'll get that done for you. All you got to do is check it out at CertifiedElectrician.com. Don't forget the Hard Hat outing is tomorrow at the White Hawk Country Club and White Hawk Golf Club, and that will be, I think that's like on the border of Crown Point and Cherville. I don't even know what town that's in, but there'll be all sorts of building trades, union guys out there, and union contractors, along with end users who build stuff, and they'll all be coming there to make some, put some money together for some very worthy causes. Make-A-Wish Foundation and Boys and Girls Club are just one of them. Congratulations to the guys who build stuff for giving back to the community. And then also tomorrow is the NISA fundraiser. The NISA, you will hear more about it in the future. Frank Mervan and Steve Shekel are kind of the two guys, main drivers behind this. And ultimately, it stems from the flood and us seeing a problem of dealing with emergencies and catastrophes. And ultimately, we will build a center at Gary Airport that will kind of be the center for all of this. It's called a Multi-Agency Coordination Center, MAC Center. But, hey, on tomorrow from 3:30 until 8, you want to watch the Derby on a massive screen on the side of a building. You want to go into an airplane hangar. You want to hang out with a lot of cool people. And they've got a whiskey. They got a whiskey sponsor, and of course Doc's Barbecue. Brett over here at Doc's Barbecue is the guy who supplies all the food, so it's just a downright good party one of the better kept secrets in the region. You can still get tickets at Munster Police Department for $50 a piece. All right, guys. In terms of traffic, brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, a little bit of tightness at the merge going into the Dan Ryan, but other than that, it's moving okay. Even going into Jane Byrne, it's not too bad. Skyway, Toll Road, Barman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty darn well. And we're talking with the folks from the food bank. They had a big day yesterday. It was the kind of introduction of this brand new 72,000 square foot facility on Broadway in Maryville, 6490. It's the old Handy Andy, if you remember that. And they brought a whole bunch of people out there and kind of hanging out with Mark Lazarowitz. Anybody remember Mark Lazarowitz? Mark and I are going to the Grateful Dead on June 23rd and 24th. And we were able to solidify our plans there. Anybody wants to talk to Jeff Strack, Steve Beekman, or Emily Kutka, give us a call at 219-845-1100. All right, a couple final topics here. You guys got a big building, 72,000 square feet. That is millions of dollars to renovate. It's just a big shell right now. Where are you going to get the money?
Yeah, so we've been quietly busy trying to secure the $4 million campaign, as we are calling the Fighting Hunger, Building Hope campaign. And, we've reached 2.5 million, and we need one more 1.5 million to complete, as you said, the shell, to complete the inside construction of our future home. So, this is going to come through the public. We're asking for individuals, businesses to help support this campaign, because it's going to have a huge impact into the region and what we can do to serve people in need. And so we're calling out to the public and asking people to donate for this.
And how are you doing that? Emily, you calling on businesses? You having any special dinners or anything, or what do you got?
I am happy to come out and have a special dinner if anybody would like to talk about what we're doing and learn more. Yesterday was the huge kickoff to get that started and really just tell people what we're all about and how we're going to change the region through this building and the programs. So it's just a lot of conversations. If you ever want us on the radio again, we'll come chat and talk about it some more. We have a really great team that's working and picking up the phone and calling people every day and knocking down doors and just trying to be heard, I think.
I saw Lisa Doherty there, and now I see you, and I'm like, maybe we could get something going where you as the main fundraiser here versus Lisa Doherty over at the United Way. I mean, it's a friendly competition. Everybody's going after. Everybody's got to get funding, and that's where the region steps forward. People got to fund this thing. So $2.5 million is a huge accomplishment. I got to give you guys credit on this thing. I mean, you had to buy it and have an indication. It's always that last million.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, and you do these big projects. It's like, oh, we got to this point, and then you're like, well, we pretty much bled everybody, that we know. Now we got to find that secret squirrel that will come up that's got it hanging around that can help it. And once again, if you are that secret squirrel and you're extremely wealthy, these things don't have to be paid in one lump sum. You can do them over time as long as there's a commitment on them, right?
Correct. And actually, right now we have a match going on. A special match from BMO Harris. They'll match up to $50,000, and then another $50,000 match that we have from an anonymous donor. So $100,000 match right now. If we can raise that by May 18th.
So you've got another 2 weeks to get. 2 weeks from today, you have to get $100,000 to get you $200,000, and that bring it down to 1.3. Is that about around there?
Exactly.
And then once again, we will get to that last million, and then that's when you got to get creative. That's when you're like writing grants, and then you're going to all sorts of meetings, and you're not home at all in the evenings because you got to get that capital campaign, right?
Well, actually, that's happening now.
Oh, yes,
the last 2 years. But yeah, that will continue. We're going to continue until we accomplish these goals, because it's just not the construction. It's the difference we're going to make in the community and helping people in the region. So we have amazing team that works hard, that's passionate about the cause, and we're going to continue that until we reach the goals and helping people make ends meet.
We didn't necessarily talk about some of the exact struggles on the street level of people that are food insecure, but maybe that'll be the next one where maybe we get somebody on the social worker level and so forth, and how people really are struggling and how they, what do you do if you don't have enough food for your kids, and who do you go to, and what are the resources in the community. We touch on some of that when Frank Mervan comes in, but maybe there needs to be a little deeper analysis of that. I want to thank you guys for the shirt. If you guys are watching right now and it looks like all of a sudden I grew some pectoral muscles, that is from putting a medium cotton shirt over a dress shirt and then trying to wear it on the air. But for some reason it stretched really nicely, so thank you so much. It wasn't even for me. I just took it, so we're fair enough with that.
It was for Sean.
Yeah. Hey, you guys are doing great work. Keep doing it, man. I mean, working in the not-for-profit area is rewarding spiritually and so forth. But I've seen it firsthand exactly how challenging it can be, and my kudos to you guys for doing it. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, Jeff, thanks for bringing them in. I appreciate it, man. All right, guys, up next, we're going to talk a little, we're going to talk with, I'll tell you who it is. We'll be right back.
Men, are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about Sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic 20-milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Call us 219-228-7200 or visit us at vitоспharmacy.com.
Vito's Pharmacy.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Easy Clean is happy to announce their new location's grand opening at 1637 45th Street in Griffith. Open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Or stop by one of our 3 other locations in Highland, Schererville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, carpet shampooer, air freshener, and towel with every wash. And it's fast, easy, convenient, safe, and gentle. Go to myeasyclean.com for more information.
Is Indiana better off than it was 40 years ago? I'm Father Mark Kurowski, a Democrat, running for state senate. It's time for a new direction in Indiana. It's time for a state senator who fights for regular Hoosiers, fully funded and safe schools, for union labor, for roads and bridges, for a foster care system that works. We have the money in the rainy day fund, and it's pouring down. If you think it's time for a state senator who will fight for you, then vote Mark Kurowski for state senate on May 8th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Kurowski.
John Salzader, candidate for North Township Advisory Board. I am fully qualified, experienced, and will bring a new face and new vision to your township government. Elect John Salzader, SALZEIDER, on May 8th, Democrat.
Approved and paid for by the committee to elect John Salzider.
Eduardo's Natural Pizza in Munster has built a reputation for serving the finest Chicago-style stuffed pizza, loaded with fresh and natural ingredients. Not interested in stuffed pizza? Eduardo's has the best thin crust pizza, appetizers, salads, pastas, and more. Pick up a half-baked pizza from Eduardo's to take home and bake at your convenience. It's the perfect solution for those hectic nights. Eduardo's is located at 7920 Calumet Avenue in Munster. Dine in or carry out by calling 836-2010.
At Corellis Roofing, we recognize that our employees are our biggest asset.
I don't know if I picked roofing or roofing kind of, fell on me. My name is Phil Youngie. I am a project manager here at Corellis Roofing. I came in here as a roofer. Here I am 20 years later, managing million-dollar projects. If you're willing to put hard work in, willing to do your time, the opportunities are wide open here at Corellis Roofing.
If you're willing to work hard, we have a place for you at Corellis Roofing.
Hey, what are you guys doing? 721 in the Calumet region. Hey, Sonny, you come over here and Jimmy, switch out and show them what you're doing. We've got Sonny Santana. He is just from my sports broadcasting class, and he is in here helping out today. Thanks a lot for coming in, Sonny. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in traffic. 294 around the city. He's actually got a little bit of a tight spot going into the Stevenson, but it's not too bad going to O'Hare. 80 going east and west looks good. To Bishop Ford up the gut of the South Line. It's pretty good from, say, 115th, or it's pretty good up to 115th, and then it's a little tight from 115th on up to about 87th. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue. Hey, they were all moving along pretty well. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. And what do you have in terms of the weather? High of 74 today after these clouds and maybe just a little bit of a shower come through. We should have a beautiful day and a high of 74 later and sunny. Tomorrow, high of 77, sunshine and nice. And then on Sunday, get some showers moving in with some possible clouds and certainly not as warm as you get a high in the mid-60s. And weather this morning is brought to you by our good friends at Carpenter's Local 599. They've been a part of the community for over 130 years, or 120 years, and they'll be well represented out at the Hard Hat outing tomorrow. And what else do we have in terms of, the unemployment rate is set to come out. And let me see where the markets are going into this thing. There was just not a lot of movement early when I looked at like 3:30 in the morning. Now the Dow is down 90. It was down about 30 or 40 earlier. So it's trending lower. We'll see what the numbers bring, and I'll keep an eye on that for you guys. Now let's take a look at some of the stuff that is happening in the Calumet region we didn't get to. I did go to that food bank thing yesterday. And Jimmy Mullaney, you had two things. I don't have my sheet in front of me. What's that? Ben Wood, I want to say happy graduation to Ben Wood, Benton Wood. He has been a long time, I think 2 summers worth of being an intern here, and he's a journalism major at Indiana University. There's a picture of him right there. If he looks familiar to any longtime basketball fans, there was a good about 3,500 to 4,000 people that watched him get thrown out of his final sectional game as he got a technical foul, and Highland lost to Lake Central, and I think that is so cool. I always remind him of that. I'm not saying that in a negative fashion. You know, he put forth his best foot. He had to guard for years going up through. He's a tall guy, Benton, and he is for years all through youth basketball and then all through the different levels. He had to guard Ty from Butler, Lake Central, Ty Weidman. One time, I think it was his mom or an aunt came up and ripped on me right in the stands. Now that I'm dyslexic, I can't remember it, but she gave me an earful for saying Weideman, like 3 syllables. She said, "It's Weidman," and just lit me up during a break. So I should remember it, but there's 2 things to remember so I can remember them backwards. So it's either Weidman or Weideman, and you better get it right. So I've got them both there. I don't want that to happen again. But Ben used to have to guard Ty Weidman all the way up through. Weidman is just graduating from Butler now, and I get the feeling that Ty Weidman and Benton Wood aren't going to each other's graduation parties. But Ben is just a good, solid dude, and he's going to go on. He's a good sports journalist. He's done a lot of stuff down there at IU. And then what do we have in terms of, hey, Wally, don't get your underwear all bunched up. Go back and sit down. We'll have you in a sec. Okay, good. There you go. Let's what else did we have on my list? I had the Wicker Park. What was it about? I forget. I don't know. Something with Wicker Park. What? Oh, there was a question. Julie emailed me a question, and she said, what is going on with Wicker Park along Ridge Road? And as far as I understand it, they're just building new tennis courts. And that's a problem, and I wanted to talk about this. A lot of people like to walk around Wicker Park. I don't know how long this is going to be. Already got one text from Frank Mervan III this morning. Maybe he'll text me. But how long is that walking path going to be closed? And this is big news. I mean, it changes, our quality of life. For Alexis and I, we walk around Wicker Park probably 3 times a week when it's nice out, sometimes every night after work if we can swing it. And there is, once we get past political season, we will be able to do that. I didn't realize that so many people have their fundraisers going into political season so that people will give them money from their campaigns. But right there on Ridge Road, it's closed, and you can walk all the way around Wicker Park right now. and looks like it might be that way a while. Maybe Frank will text me before this is over, and I'll be able to tell you when that is going to end. What else do we have here locally? I think that ought to about do it, huh? Which one are we looking at? And we have I got to cover this because it's kind of a weird story. And there's a Portage coach has been arrested and charged with a couple felonies. He's a 19-year-old guy, and his name is Jatwan Liddell London. Jatwan Dell London. He's of Portage. He's 19. He's an assistant diving coach, and he is accused of sexual misconduct with 2 female students at the school, including as many as 50 sexual encounters with a girl beginning when she was 14 years old. And I don't know what to say. Portage School Superintendent Amanda Alanes said London has been suspended as a dive coach and held no position at the school. Here in Hammond, you guys know the Brinks heist earlier this week, and it was Saturday. Looks like the FBI say there were 3 guys. Suspects made off with at least $500,000 from a Brinks truck that morning when they fled from the parking lot of Chase Bank. An abandoned, burned-out car tied to the case was later discovered along Boy Scout Road in Hammond. FBI Special Agent Bob Ramsey told the Times, this out of the Times, surveillance footage from Chase Bank has been instrumental in the investigation. The video confirmed they were working with more suspects than initially thought. There were 3 men in the Cadillac, Ramsey said, and so they're looking for these 3. All right, what else you guys want to talk? Let's see how Mad Mac's doing. How are you, man? What's up?
What's up, Elvis? How you doing?
Just hanging out. I got 15 more minutes, and I'm going to breakfast. Got something? Do you have anything interesting to say?
Yeah, who you taking to breakfast? You taking my boy with you or what?
No, Jack goes to school. They don't start at Elliott until like 9:05, and he wakes up at like 6. So I pick him up on Fridays. I pick him up.
High school
Yeah, Elson.
Sure.
You know, I don't know why they do this. The high school starts at like 7:40, and the little kids start at like 9:05. They need to switch that around so high school students can sleep later. Anyways,
Maybe
what's
it's a
going
busing
on?
thing or something.
Yeah, what's
Hey,
up?
well, listen, all you got to do with that Wicker Park dilemma, you know, when you're coming around, you're coming off like number 7 or whatever it is, walking along the boulevard, and you get where that dog, that big gigantic poo run is over there, you know, where the dogs all, poo in the park run.
Yeah.
You just cut behind there, and then you cut right across the driving range, and you're right back by the front. I mean, you just got to serpentine a couple balls and stuff, but you'll be fine.
Have you ever tried to do that?
Actually, in my younger day when I lived at Brentwood, I can't even tell you the things on the air we did over there. We used to actually hit the golf balls into the pool on Friday night. You walk out on the driving range with a 9-iron and go up on that little berm they have for a green. And we just hit as many golf balls until we either got chased out or someone flashed a flashlight on us. And then on Saturday, when you'd go swimming, we'd be the first people there, and then you'd fish the balls out of the pool, and then they give you free treats. So it's like kind of self-fulfilling stomach prophecy, so to speak.
No, it's self-fulfilling vandalism is what it is.
No, vandalism it was in when you break or damage something.
You're taking property of Wicker Park and you're going out on a green and you're hitting 9-irons, which to me almost sounds like you're making it up because I've seen you swing and I'm not altogether sure you can get a 9-iron in the air. And then you're hitting them into the pool, and all these cars are going by. I mean, you could hurt someone. That's vandalism.
No, right into the pool. Remember when the pool used to be there?
Oh, yeah, you hit it every time. So if you hit I remember that. I used to go there all the time. And
right to the fence. All you do is hit them right over the fence.
Yeah, you hit them over the fence. The pool's closed. I get it. So you're not hitting
nothing
it.
There. What are you going to hit, the fence?
So what happens? You hit it over the fence, and it doesn't go in the pool. It hits the concrete right there, and then it bounces again and goes right onto Indianapolis Boulevard. That's what can happen.
Dude, we're like in 5th, 6th, 7th grade. We're not golfers like you and Baker. But hey, here's my question for you. I know you were out in the Boulevard talking about Trump. What is the liberal media and everybody else who's all Trump haters? What are they going to do in like 8 months from now? This thing gets shut down because there's no evidence of collusion with Russia. There's nothing there. These guys are just chasing their own tail right now. They're just making it up. What are they going to do when this thing closes and they go, oh, we just think Trump's a bad guy?
Well, isn't that what everybody hopes?
Nothing happens to Trump.
Isn't that what you hope for?
I don't actually hope for it because I can't say I know the facts, but there's not a lick of evidence he did anything with these Russian folks regarding the election. That Russia put some phony Facebook ads up there. Did you ever see any of those ads that the Russians put on Facebook? You look at them and you go, I don't even know what these even mean.
Okay, I don't want to argue the merits of the case. I want to argue what you want. I want to know what you want to happen here with this Russia investigation.
What I want to happen is this thing is to be shut down now. There's no justification for it. There's nothing.
But
There's
also,
no
ultimately, you want
the link.
All right. Ultimately, you want the result to be that the president didn't do anything wrong, and the country can go on with its job as we go on with as America. Am I reading that right?
Just let the guy be president. He's doing a great job so far.
Okay.
He brought North and South Korea together, and yet over the last 40 years, we've got a State Department with 3,000 lunkheads in there trying to make peace. They couldn't get anything done.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. Let's stay on this one. No, let's not get into sushi. We're talking about vodka. Okay, here's the deal.
Vodka.
Yeah, we're talking about Russia, and I agree with you. I want the exact same thing, but with a little bit of a wrinkle. I want the exact same thing to come out where Trump didn't do anything, and the Russians didn't, help to instill him in office. Okay. I want that too because I don't want to feel like we were undermined by the Russians, okay? But I also want a step in there that you probably don't want. You want it shut down now, and I want a professional that has been appointed by our government to be able to continue to do his job and then just finish it. And I'm with you. I'd rather it finish sooner or later, and I hope that the outcome is that nothing wrong was done. But you got to let this guy finish out his investigation. That's the American way, man. You got to figure it out.
How long should he get? A year, 2 years, 3 years? Because I remember Comey in one of his interviews after his little book tour, he says, if you can't get something done in a year, you should be fired.
All right, leave it there. Leave it there. I got to finish up here. Thanks a lot. All right, be right back.
This is Judy Mervan, daughter of State Senator Frank Mervan, and I'd like to tell you why my father is a strong choice for state senator. He fights for what's right for working families and champions legislation that upholds our democratic values. His strong voice stands up for workers' rights and creates and protects good-paying jobs. His commitment to working people earned him endorsements by many unions. State Senator Frank Mervan fights for the highest quality of education for our children because they deserve the best. He's a strong advocate for our teachers, which has earned him the endorsements of all teachers' associations. He's a strong voice for equality and justice for all our citizens. He fights for families to have the health care coverage they need. My father, Frank Mervan, has a strength of experience and is in touch and involved with all our communities. He is a state senator you have come to know and trust to build a better future together. Please vote for State Senator Frank Mervan, paid for by the committee to re-elect Frank Mervan Jr., State Senator.
On May 8th, vote for Democrat Andrew Silvestrowitz for Lake County Clerk of Circuit Courts. Andrew is a qualified Democrat and has 12 years of experience as a councilman in Maryville at every facet of government. Make your vote count with Andrew Silvestrowitz for Clerk of Circuit Courts. Paid for by committee to elect Democrat Andrew Silvestrowitz.
I am Andrew Silvestrowitz, and I approve this message.
Everything Italian. That's what you get at Giuseppe's Restaurant in Cherville.
Hi, this is Joe from Giuseppe's Everything Italian. Here today to let our friends and listeners to WJOB know about the few things that we have added. We offer catering now, catering for your party, family event, or even for businesses. Just give us a call at Giuseppe's at 322-0011 and ask for Joe. Thank you.
Giuseppe's Everything Italian is located at 1000 Eagle Ridge Drive in Cherville, just north of the Showplace Theaters, 219-322-0011, or visit Giuseppe'sPizza.net.
Rush Radiosurgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radiosurgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radiosurgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
Debbie Wargo doing a little tag on the end there through a tin can. Hey, let's take a look at what's going on 294 around the city. A little bit tough once you get to 95th, just for a little while, though. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford lighter than normal at the merge and on the Randian. Hey, Skyway Toll Road, Borman I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue, all moving along well. Brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda. What do you have in terms of the weather? High of 74, a shower early this morning. And then tomorrow, sunshine and nice and a high of 77. And then Sunday, a high of 67. We got Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott coming up in a minute. We were going to have Bobby Plump, but it looks like we're not able to get that done right now. But we do got to tell you about it. Wally, we got to go right now. We got the mayor coming in. He don't like to wait. Stand up and cheer for Hoosiers. Hey, Bobby Plump has, is this signed by him? Can I have this, or who's this for? All right, I just got myself a movie poster from Hoosiers, and there I am handling it with my grubby little fingers. Hey, Wally, talk into that, will you? Please tell people who you are. What do you want to go by today? Fox. We're going to go by Fox. Talk into the microphone real tight, huh? There you go. And, Fox, what's going on, man?
May the 18th, Bobby Plump is coming into Highland, Indiana. He's going to be there from 12 to 3. They're going to have a basket set up. And I guess if you shoot a basketball from 16.5 feet where Bobby actually made the shot, they're going to give you a discount on a car. If you buy a car, I guess they're going to give you a basketball. It's going to be a fun thing. And then from 5 to 8 for the people that are coming home from work, especially the people that graduated in the 50s, Bobby's going to be at Bridges Scoreboard from 5 to 8. A lot of Bishop Noel alumni and people that I know of are hopefully to be there. And he'll be there selling posters and autographing and taking pictures and stuff. This has been a long time since Bobby has been in the area. And we just came back from March the 7th for the Paul Horning Award, which he got a chance to talk to Paul Horning, and Jim Brown was the guest speaker. And it was quite a day, and Bobby got quite a bit of reception down there at Paul Horning's award in Louisville.
I remind you, it's very difficult to understand this. But some people don't know who Bobby Plump is.
You're absolutely right, Jim. And Bobby Plump, we were very fortunate. In 1954, they played Muncie Central, which was the #1 team. And Bobby Plump hit the shot, I think, with about 2 seconds left to go in the ball game. Then they had the true story of Hoosiers. Actually, it wasn't a true story. It was based on Bobby
Based
Plump.
on it loosely.
It was very a lot of distorted facts. But it basically, and that's when Bobby Plump really became known to the rest of the, I guess you say, United States. They had 25 sports stories. DVD, you can get them for Indiana, and the #1 sports story is Bobby Plump when they beat Muncie Central in 1950. It's a smaller school in Indiana.
It was a small school. I think in the movie it was, what's his name, Ryan? Jimmy Chitwood? Jimmy Chitwood.
Yeah,
Run the picket fence! Dennis Hopper's really good in that one, too.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes is when Gene Hackman gets thrown out, and he hands the team over to Dennis Hopper, and Hackman gets thrown out on purpose, and you know what? Dennis could do it. You know what I mean? But it's based on a true story, so it's always good to see Bobby Plump come into town. He's a huge kind of a personality in the Indianapolis area.
Yeah, yes, he is. He definitely is. And the thing about it, the coach in real life, he's only 26 years old.
Yep.
At that time, and they brought him in from another school, and Bobby said he was just one of the nicest guys you want to meet. It gave you a completely different outlook compared to what Gene Hackman played in the movie.
Yeah, but you gotta build up some. I mean, was there a Barbara Hershey though? I never asked Bobby that. Was there a Barbara Hershey who was?
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically Jimmy Chitwood.
Yeah.
So did he have an older sister that was? Who knows, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I talked to Bobby a lot about the movie, and he just said that they had to change it around. He says he didn't have nothing to say about it. He just was more or less, like a consultant on the movie to that extent.
Fox, you think Barbara Hershey's pretty?
Well, she's very attractive. I mean, he was there when the shooting was on, so I mean, he thought, I guess she was attractive.
Is Bobby Plump married, or was he
Yeah,
married?
Bobby Plump's married. He's got a couple kids.
Okay.
Jonathan is one of them. Also has his daughter who works for him in Broad Ripple. And they got a place called Plump's Last Shot. Actually, his son runs it.
And it's a restaurant bar.
It's a restaurant bar. Yeah, it's a restaurant bar.
Yeah, I think I've been there.
You have been. Okay.
Yeah, every once in a while I go down with my cousin, and she used to live in Broad Ripple.
Yeah.
And so she just kind of like takes us around to 4 or 5 establishments, and you don't stay too long to, get, the seat warm or anything.
It's a very trendy area.
Yeah, but it's very trendy. It's that kind of area where you kind of go from place to place.
Well, Butler's close by.
Yes.
So that's why people go there. And it's a very fun area.
All right, what's the date on this?
May 18th.
What is that? What kind of?
It's going to be a Friday, 2 weeks from today.
Friday, May 18th, and that'll be noon to 3, right down at Web Ford.
Web Ford, yes.
And then at Jeff and Scott's place in Bridges, it'll be that same day from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll remind people as we get a little bit closer. Thank you for the movie poster. We'll get that. I think you gave me you gave me a picture of Bobby and the 4 other players playing catch with a basketball outside of a barn. And they all signed it, and it's up here on the wall. And you will not believe how many people walk in here, and that is the thing that they gravitate to.
Those were the starters on the team.
Yeah, and that is so many people know exactly who that is, and it's kind of a cool memorabilia. So we'll frame this one also, and we'll pump this for you there, Fox, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah. That'll do it for me. And Tom McDermott's going to be a little bit yeah, put that on Deb. Give that to Ryan. Don't give that to me. He's going to be a little surprised that I'm actually getting off here on time. But I want to remind you guys about tomorrow. The NISA fundraiser is still there. We also have the Rant Run at Grimmer Middle School tomorrow morning for the, I think it's hashtag DanStrong. And if you want to go on a run tomorrow morning, 5K and a 3K walk, or you just want to get out and walk. It should be beautiful out. Be a great cause, especially if you're in the Cherville community. If you live in Cherville, even if your kids go to a different school than Grimmer Middle School, it doesn't matter. Maybe they go to St. Mike's or they go to Kaler or whatever. That whole town should be coming out tomorrow morning for this walk and run to support the Runyon family. He was a hell of a teacher at Grimmer Middle School, and he just collapsed and died in February with his students, and many of them saw him die, and it was a very sad situation. So that'll be tomorrow morning. You can look that up on the internet. NISA, go over to Munster Police Station and get your tickets. I'm out. McDermott's in. He pays for this time. See ya.
Looking to advance your career?